with his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, wearing black with white, also weighing in at 167.6 pounds. In his professional career, 54 victories, including 36 big wins by knockout, only one defeat with 2 draws, and he's undefeated for 6 years, and considered by many to be, pound for pound, the best in the world. He's the former 2-time light middleweight world champion, former middleweight world champion, former light heavyweight world champion, the reigning, defending super middleweight champion of the world, damas y caballeros de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, representando al gran campeón, Saúl Canelo.
Hispanic causing panic, Lascano. Using the ropes. This guy gets a smile from maybe crashing out. Oh, counter assertive.
What's going on, everybody? D-Style here. I'm being joined by the one and the only Terri the Moss Boss on here as our guest of the evening. This is the 114th edition of Hispanics, Causin Panic. A lot to talk about here. First of all, Terri, welcome back to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I always love getting with you guys and chatting it out.
Now, I got to ask, are those all your medals, your fighters' medals?
Those are my
medals in the back?
Promotions that I've had.
Okay, there we go.
I've been promoting shows since 2010, so I've done a lot. So this isn't all I have. This is some of what I have just hanging around.
Yeah, we did that. You'd be too far. We need a big wall, you know. So we're good. We're good.
Right. Yeah, mostly, if you look, they're like credentials, different shows that I've done, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. All right. Now, Buckhead. Fightclub.com. You guys can actually visit the website. I see you do have a website here. I heard you're going to have a 10-year anniversary. Well, when is that exactly? What date does that hit?
It's May 13th, but we're having a big celebration on the 20th. We have some mariachis in there. You know, our gym, as we've talked about it before, is in the middle of a really big Latin community. So, most of my fighters are Hispanic, Venezuelan, a Mexican, all different kinds of Latin fighters. So we have some random other guys too, but we're probably actually the most diverse boxing gym I've ever been to, because then I have my collegiate team. It's the Georgia Tech Boxing Club, and those guys, they're mostly Afghan, Indian, Asian. So we've got a really, really diverse group. But my home team here, the Fight Club, is mostly the Latin fighters, and we've been here this will be our 10th anniversary. So we're gonna have a big party on the 20th. We're gonna live stream it, do some live music, get some mariachis, giving away some prizes and awards, and just let our members and team know that we appreciate them. Then we're gonna watch the Lomachenko fight.
Well, there you go. The live stream, where can people watch that? The website, or where can they see it?
Yeah, it'll be on my website. If you go to buckheadfightclub.com, there's a place that says live events, and you'll see it right there.
Okay. Besides the mariachis, what else? Are you going to have some fights or anything like that? Or?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have some sparring. We got a couple of pros coming in that are fighting on a fight card that I'm working with for the next weekend. So they'll be doing a little sparring, and it's basically showing a lot of videos and pictures and things from all the things that we've done over the last 10 years. And it's been a lot of changes that we've experienced over that time, and we've had a whole lot of fighters come through. So it's going to be a time for us to really just show our appreciation to to the families and the teams. And we got a lot of families here because, the Latinos stay in the family. So we've had brothers, cousins, all kinds of.
Do you have
families.
enough room? Because they're going to bring the cousins, they're going to bring the primos, the abuelitas, they're going to bring their tios. So they're going to bring everybody. I'm just going to let you know right now. So.
Tacos. Yeah.
Right.
So my gym is 25,000 square foot. It's a big girl. So,
Okay, well, that'd be a packed house for sure. And then with the mariachis, I might show up if there's mariachis. You know what I mean? I'll get you right.
One of our guys, like he's a writer and he does, like positive rap music. He's gonna write. He's got a song about the gym that he wants to perform. So we got him. Again, the mariachis. A lot going on. It's gonna be a fun night.
So he's gonna like rap. He's gonna rap with the mariachis playing.
No, but that would be cool though. Maybe
right. Hey, it's a good idea, right? Maybe a first.
A rapper with mariachis. Yeah.
He might pull that off actually. By the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you guys. Thank you for commenting. We have a long show here today, but we are starting here with Terri, the boss, Moss. Take us back, because first of all, I want to congratulate you for having a gym for 10 years now. That's great. We need people to have gyms and invest in gyms because that is the heartbeat of the sport. Without gyms, there's no fighters, right? So how have you been able to sustain that for 10 years now?
And we're going strong. We've got a whole new partnership coming in. We really have done nothing but grow over the 10 years. We plan on growing some more. What we want to be here is like the mecca of boxing in Atlanta, where all the fighters come, where everybody knows about it. Sorry. I got somebody trying to come in. Where everybody knows about it, and where where all the they know that this is where the promotions are. This is where the fighters are. This is where all the activity is, and this is where fighters get moved. We want to be that space. So one of the news partner I have coming in, he's also a promoter, so we're going to do all kind of shows together. We've got got a lot that we plan to do. And honestly, my goal is within about 3-year period, I intend to have one at a big arena. We've got a State Farm arena here. We've been approved for a show. We just need to now develop the few relationships that we have left to develop to get that big. That'll be a TV show level boxing. The last one that was there was Showtime. So, we had Tank Davis and those guys there. So we want to put on one of those shows.
And then
I'd actually like to put on a world amateur tournament there as well. So that would be really good. So working on some things.
There you go. Because I was about to ask you about that. For those that don't know, like in your gym, you also have boxing events.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah. I've been a promoter longer than I've had this gym. So it's been like 23 years in boxing for me and then 10 years of it here. But this has been the best part. The community is amazing, mostly because of the Latin families that, the Hispanics that support the gym. We've got, like I said, whole families. They come here, they really support. When I have Mexicans fighting, it's a sold out house every time. Some of my guys that you've interviewed, one of them, Abel Aparicio, he's been out for over a year with a bad knee. He had to have a pretty bad knee surgery twice. So, but he's back in training now. So hopefully we'll be able to fight him in about 4 more months.
Okay. I was actually about to ask you about him. So, I
got a Venezuelan fighter. I'm going to turn pro too. And his record and his amateur record over there was 77-2. So
he could punch, huh? Those Venezuelans can punch.
He's got a little punch, yeah. He's got a really aggressive go-to style. I like that.
Okay. Do people usually speak Spanish in the gym? Or are they gancho? Like, are they like?
I speak Spanish in the gym.
Well, there you go.
That's in my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean I always get it right. But yeah, I'm a lot of Spanish. Yep. I got a little guy, a Mexican kid that I'm getting ready to take to the JO Nationals. He's waving at me right now. But so, I'm looking for him. He's one of our hottest little prospects, honestly. He's had, by the time the Nationals are through, second week of June, he'll probably have about 18 fights. So he's, getting in there. And he's just turned 13. But he's been with me since he was 6. So that's a good thing. One thing, we've got a lot of long-term fighters here.
So as a former fighter, at what point from your retirement, and I know you were promoting as well, when did you decide, I want to open my own gym? When did that
wasn't
come about?
Decision. That was more like I have to open a gym. Yeah. I had a trainer and I'd been with him for 11 years, but, I was starting to promote shows, you're not supposed to stage the bride kind of thing. So maybe I think I was doing a little more than what he wanted me to do in his gym. So threw me out of there. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease. I'm like, I gotta have my space. So yeah, it wasn't really like I planned on it, but I knew what I was getting into. It was one of the hardest things I ever did just to get this gym open because I knew nothing about building, and you got to get permits and
Oh, wow, okay.
it's a lot. So I learned as I went along. So now I can say I'm a master at building, operating, all that thing.
What was more difficult, being a fighter or owning the gym?
Definitely owning the gym.
It's more difficult.
Much
Really?
easier to be the fighter. Oh yeah, because you got one focus. Here I've got 100 focuses. I've got not just to deal with the functionality of the operation of the gym itself, but I got to train fighters, and then I got to have clients to train. I got to move students. And then I've got also promotions. Amateur shows, pro shows. I do some white collar shows as well. So it's a lot for we're a full service facility. We do everything. So then it's just a lot on one venue, but we make it happen. So.
Okay. Yeah. Did you being a woman make it? Do you feel made it more difficult? Trying to start a gym.
Listen, when I first came here, I didn't believe for a minute I was going to be accepted into this community. Like I said, it's a very, very Mexican community. I mean, now it's getting where there's much more than just Mexicans. A lot of Latinos, different backgrounds, different places, different countries. So, but in the beginning, I mean, I'm honestly a white lady, but now they think, like, the Mexicans don't think I'm white. Nobody thinks I'm white. They're like, you're Latino, right? They think I'm Colombian. I don't know why. I'll just go with it, right? But so, I mean, I just didn't think they would accept me. But, that's what I'm saying. The community, I mean, me, I'm a Latina. I would not give this up for anything. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I mean, my pride is all the Latin fighters. I remember one time I did an amateur show, a big one. And this ringside doctor asked me, said, are all your fighters, Latino? I'm like, pretty much. Not intentionally, they just are. But now, a lot more now coming. But
I have to be honest, like when I hear Atlanta, Georgia, right? I'm not thinking, it's going to be primarily Latinos. Mm-hmm. It's not the first thing that comes to my mind. Are there other rival gyms around maybe that get all the other fighters mostly, or?
Yeah, there's a bunch of gyms. There's not one like this. No, nobody has this space and this. I mean, okay. We're in a location that's premium for Atlanta. We're one of the only places around that's got free parking that's inside the city. We're in the city. So, I mean, we really have a good thing going. And then, I mean, at one point, when I first came here, I knew that Atlanta was the 10th largest Latino population in the country. I don't know about now. There's a lot more growth now as far as the Latino population. So I don't know if that's still the case, but we've always had a giant community here. And this street that my gym is on is really the most diverse area, racially diverse in the whole city. It's like the place where people go to get good food, whether it's it could be, I don't know, Mexican, Cuban, Korean, all those things. We got all the different, this is a very diverse area. So It's really, I couldn't be in a better place to enjoy, all the different kinds of fighters I can get, the different styles, the different mentalities, but when that's what I love about boxing. That's what really got me in the first place. What made me fall in love with boxing is the gym is the one place where it doesn't matter who you are. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be a criminal, you can be a cop. What I'm saying? You can be any color, any flavor, and you're all just fighters. So that's the good thing about it. That's where respect happens. And boxing is the most respectful place that I've ever experienced. That everybody has respect. Even if you got a prize fighter with 20 pro fights, he sees a little 10-year-old in there getting his first fight, you're still a fighter. I mean, everybody's the same. We're fighters, So, right. I mean, it's just a community that if you have the right mentality and you don't, one thing we never do is we never play hierarchies in my gym. It just doesn't happen. We don't let any, there's a word for it. We don't let none of that, no crap come in here. We always make sure, or let me say, I always make sure that there's a mentality of fighters. If we get somebody that's a problem, they got to go. So, everybody's got respect in here because the boxing gym is where you have respect because every fighter deserves respect. And, it doesn't matter if they're better than you or worse than you or new or old, how long they've been here. I mean, anybody can kick your butt or either they're on the way to kicking somebody's butt, so we're all here to fight and learn to fight. And that's one thing that's, I can't, my heart is really big right now because I've got this whole, we've been here 10 years. That's crazy. I never expected that to happen. I thought I'd be here like a couple of years. So, and the thing is, it's going to go way past 10 years. It's like, this isn't even the end. It's 20 years. I don't know, 10, 15, I don't know. this gym is going to last longer than me. Let me put it that way. So it's not
Wow,
about,
okay.
yeah, way past me. I mean, this is going to be a community for boxing in Atlanta, no matter how long I'm here or not. It's going to happen. So that's what it is. It's a different kind of project.
Yeah, look, it's a really nice gym, and I do invite anyone. You could always go to buckheadfightclub.com.
Or check out on Instagram too. Yeah, that's Instagram, Facebook. That's where you can see most of our stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, Twitter until this whole Elon Musk thing. I think they unmarried each other. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram don't jive anymore. But we have all of that. You can see, any place you look, we've got pretty much. You can see our shows. You can see some of our fighters. Can see kind of what we do. A lot of promotions on there. So, but yeah, get an eye on us and check it out.
Absolutely. Did you learn Spanish through the gym? Is that like
only
how much Spanish do you know? Like more or less?
Words, most of the boxing words, and food. That's about it. The good thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I can understand it better than I can speak it. Put it that way.
Okay.
So I can read it very well. So, but speaking it has been my weak spot. But I do speak some, but it might not be right.
Well, what are some big names that have shown up to spar or have a camp or anything like that in your gym?
Well, we've had lots of trainers here, fighters here, all that kind of stuff. Danny Jacobs trained here for a while. We had Zaire Rahim here. We had Zab Judah over here for a little bit and doing different things, doing some promotional things. Devin Haney fought here. Clarissa Shields fought here. We had quite a lot of fighters. I mean, some of the up and coming guys you hear right now. Oops, did I say that on this podcast? I did.
Sure.
We did quite a lot, a lot of fighters, so many I can't even think about. We've had so many people come through here. Fighters, trainers, some celebrities, doing some things. The Zone signed some of these, I don't know, the Misfits, those, what do you call it, the TikTok guys, either fighting on the Zone, those guys. We got one of those guys training in here.
So really? Okay. Is it that Salt Puppy? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't know the guy's name. He trains with a different. I don't train everybody in the gym. So we got
okay.
Several trainers in here, but this guy just fought. I can't even remember. He fought Kimbo Slice's son. I don't know, on one of the Zone shows, the Baby Slice. I don't know. So we get some craziness in here. So sometimes we all sit around hanging out on the ring like that, watching. Like, what's that? What are they doing? Yeah.
Do you see like an uptick in new members or whatever when there's like a big fight or something like that? Like Tank Davis just fought Ryan, right? Did you see like more people start coming to your gym?
I don't think that fight would have done. We're in a Latino community, so nobody's real happy about that fight. None of our guys, anyway. But but still, I mean, most of the guys here were rooting for Tank Davis. He's got a big fan base here. So, but yeah, I mean, I think what I've seen as far as the difference in 10 years time, we got kind of two programs, one that's like competitive boxing, for fighters. And, we got a lot of guys just gym fighters, they only do whatever we're doing in the gym. They don't really go out. And then we got fighters, we got kids, all these, and we've got this like a fitness program for people that want to do boxing training, but not really do full contact, go all out. They're just minor drills and things like that they do. So,
like Laura, here's Sandy Laura style. Just playing. I'm joking.
Right. Well, we've seen a big uptick in competitive boxing. So in other words, more now than ever before, everybody wants full contact boxing, where it used to be the smaller program. And I've seen that only over the last 2 years, and that's really been a change. And I think what's happened now, and maybe some because of all the influencers and the TV people doing it, celebrities, and then the Jake Pauls of the world. I mean, I think that's making more people think maybe I can do it. I hate to say it, but that everyday, person says, "Oh, I'm going to try." If those guys can do it, anybody can do it. So I think that's maybe got some influence. And then, combat sports are getting more popular among fitness people, and they want to go to that next level. So we're seeing a lot more uptick, in that in competitive boxing training, whether they fight or not. They just want to get in there and punch it out.
Okay. All right. Now, look, I remember I watched the movie $1 Million Baby a couple years back, and there was a scene like where the trainer wasn't around, and the one kid was getting beat up by the other boxer. Like, has something like that happened in your gym?
That would never happen in my gym. In fact, that would never happen in most gyms. You know, that's probably the one scene in $1 Million Baby when I was like, where did they come up with this crap? I mean,
I was like, yo.
Well, that's what I said. You know, there might be somebody getting beat up, but no, you know, most fighters, even they might be bullies to guys that they're fighting or that they're sparring, but they're not going to be bullies to a weak.
In the movie, it was a mentally like challenged kid. Like,
it was out on. Somebody made that up. You know, Hollywood, they have their own ideas.
That was over the top, right?
Right. Also, $1 Million Baby. You know that whole story was actually based on a true story. So, but the fighter that the $1 Million Baby played is a woman fighter named Samaya Anani. She's a Hawaiian girl, and that fight actually happened where the girl got paralyzed, but she did live. So the movies, the girl, she wound up getting paralyzed and committed suicide, $1 Million Baby. But the real fighter that fought, it was just a badly overmatched fight. That happened back in the day. It used to happen a lot in women's boxing, because there was a lot of women, like when I was fighting, they had no amateur experience, including me, because nobody went into the amateurs. They went into the pros because there were hardly any women in the amateurs, so you could find a fight in the pros. That's why women's boxing was so sloppy. Nobody would televise it. They were like, oh, they suck. Well, yeah, because we're learning how to fight in the ring. That's the only option really we had back then. And so, even Christy Martin, people would say stuff about her early fights and, some of them were crap. Well, that's all that there was out there, really, until a few good fighters started coming around. So, only, after they came into the Olympics is when, they started having serious women amateurs, so it's changed now.
Sure.
It's a big difference, but, still not up to the men's game, but, different stories. So.
Slowly but surely, for sure. You have what percentage of women fighters do you have in your gym? Would you say like 10%?
No, a lot less than I used to. It used to be like 80%. Back when I first opened.
Really?
Yeah, I trained a lot of women back then, but now, I got a couple of women fighters.
Do you think the women get intimidated because there's men in the gym like fighting and sparring and?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of women are doing like Muay Thai and, they're more open to, maybe jujitsu. I don't know. It's just, it depends on what's going on, but I don't see as many. I see some, but I have a couple. And I have a lot that train, that spar and do that thing, but not that really get in there and like looking for a career. I've just got a couple.
So your gym is strictly just boxing. There's no hybrid. There's no kickboxing going on or anything like that.
We have 2 sections to my gym, and they're separated by a wall. It looks like 2 different rooms.
Okay.
15,000 square foot on one side, 11 on the other. We do have the new partner I have that's a promoter. He's going to be doing some martial arts stuff back there, and we're going to be doing some mixed shows and see if we can pull that off. It's not really the same crowd, so we'll see what we can pull off. So we're going to do a couple of those. But yeah, he's going to have that over there, but we don't really have to mix those guys. So my gym, it's all boxing. It's never had any of that yet. So, but we're, whatever it takes, we'll see if he can. Yeah, I think he's real confident about making his side of the gym grow. So hopefully.
So Abel Aparicio will be back, you said, in about 4 months. That's the plan?
Yeah, it should be about 4 months. He's in training now. It was a pretty bad, the last fight he had was a title fight, and that's my fault. I took him on a ski trip, but he's been skiing many times. We've been several of the fighters together. They used to say Mexicans don't ski. I'm like, sure they do.
I was about to say,
yeah, snow skiing. So we went skiing, and he tore his ACL. We were out in Lake Tahoe, and I was like, oh man, kicking myself. But it's just taken a while to get it back to where it needs to be. And now he's been through all the hard parts, and he's down to just the stretching and trying to train and get himself back there. So he's starting to do a little bit of ring work now. So we're gonna be ready by about 3 more months. We'll be 100%.
Okay. What's next? We're gonna take him diving. Like, what's going on? I don't know. Hopefully he'll be all right, and hopefully he makes a good comeback.
Right. And he's still gonna ski. He loves skiing, so he just went went a little too much, too hard, too fast. So
yeah, for sure. Somebody mentioned the Christy Martin documentary on Netflix. Have you had a chance to watch that?
Yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah, that is one of the most amazing stories I've ever seen. Right. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're making a movie, so hopefully that'll come out soon. It'll be a nice. I like the $1 Million Baby story, but some of the stuff in there was just, a lot of women fighters were like, somebody's strangling me. But so it'd be nice to see, something really legit and gritty come out about a woman fighter that's kind of, a good story, good story.
Yeah.
So that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, man, she went through a lot.
She did.
And
Absolutely.
now she's doing great promotions. I mean, she's, I get to see her, at least we see each other at the Hall of Fame every year. And, I get to, see her, work with her, talk to her a little bit. And, we have a few shows and things we work on together. So
Who's got more medals, like
uh,
promotional medals?
these back behind me. Well,
You
those
or
are
Christy?
all mine. Oh, me or Christy?
Yeah.
More medals. Neither one of us fought amateur.
Okay.
Christy's got more
No,
everything.
I'm actually talking about those. I'm talking about the ones behind you.
Oh, the ones behind me. Well, these are all.
Well, who's done more shows?
Yeah, these are shows that I promote. Yeah, these are corporate fight night. This is
Okay.
This was what was this one?
I guess what I'm asking is who's promoting more shows?
I've promoted more shows.
Okay, all right.
But she's got Christy Martin's name, so she can grow a lot quicker.
That's true.
I've been digging into this for like 12 years, but she's been promoting shows maybe since right before or right after, might be right before COVID, maybe something like that.
Yeah, the COVID hit her hard. I know
Yeah,
that. I interviewed her. It hit her really hard.
It was
I'm sure it hit.
my-
How? One last thing I want to ask you is how did you kind of survive the COVID situation? Was that hard? Were you kind of worried?
It's hard, but what I did is we're, first of all, I don't know if you know much about the political scene, but we're in Georgia, which means, this was our governor, we were only shut down officially for about 30 days. So when our city opened, I had to open, even though nobody came. We did certain things, but we did a lot of little rentals. There was actually a church that came through that time that for about 10 weeks, every week they were filming, their church service about, fighting, I guess, COVID and all the things.
Okay.
So, just things like that. I mean, that's one thing about here. We've made movies here. We've had, Showtime's done things here. We have a lot of gym activity besides boxing. Like we've got, we do television boxing shows that aren't even, legit boxing shows. It's just stuff for TV, and then we do, we got wrap offs in here. People want to wrap in the rings. We got 2 rings, so they, it's just there's a lot that we can do to keep us going. Photo shoots all the time, and a lot of athletes that come through, or we have a Nike model coming through now. Just a bunch of things. So we've always got a little something to keep us alive.
Yeah, for sure. And look, it's a 10-year celebration. You're gonna have mariachis. Is that open to the public? Do people got to pay to come in?
Free to anybody that comes. Free food, free everything we got.
Yeah. You
You
don't want to invite Mexicans because they're gonna. I'm telling you, they're gonna show up. It's gonna be lines. I don't know. You know what I mean? But is it BYOB or no alcohol?
Either way. Now we're gonna have it there for to give away. So yep. We have
alcohol.
More alcohol
Coronas?
in this place. Yeah, as we do a lot of shows, so there's always alcohol. We got closets full of it, and we've got rollaway bars, and we bring those out for the shows. So
you guys got mariachi, cervezas, and boxeo. I'm in.
Tequila.
Tequila too, man. I'm in. All right, I'm sold. All right, that is everybody. Buckheadfightclub.com. Visit the website. All right, and if you're in the area, you heard it right there. The Don said he's on his way. So there you go. And they'll be streaming it and everything. There's going to be some live sparring, some mariachis playing. Some dude's going to do a rap song. I mean, everything. Multicultural, right? Any last words, Terri, before I let you go?
No, just stop by our Instagram, our Facebook. We're posting things about the past, and then lead up to the 10-year. We're going to run. People are in the Atlanta area. They want to train. We're going to run some stupid specials for the one day. So, something that, we don't even want to say it. It's going to be almost, you won't get a price like that anywhere in Atlanta or by us ever again. So we're going to give away some really cool stuff. There'll be a lot. And then, come watch the fights, man. It's going to be a movie theater size screen, free. Lomachenko, Devin Haney. And Devin Haney fought here, but I'm really rooting for Lomachenko. We'll see how he does. But let me ask you one question before we go. What do you think about Canelo's last fight?
It was, if I graded him, I'll give him like a B for him.
Yeah,
he could have performed better. I think he was trying to get the knockout too much. I think
he looked the same in the Bivol fight. What I personally think he's fighting too heavy. He was the best, 154, 56, before he went up to 68. It's like, it's okay to be up. I think it's his 70s and above are just too heavy for him. He looks heavy and he just looks like he can't move as quick. So I personally like to see him go back down. He's a young man. He doesn't have to go up that high, but he's a young man, but he's an old fighter. So, but he's been one of my favorites for a long time. So this is aching me to see him go.
Yeah, I saw a stat somewhere. He's only boxed like 12 less rounds than Pacquiao, something like that.
Right.
And he's only like 32. So he's been
right.
boxing for a long, long time. He's been in some good wars, like with Triple G.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's natural. There's going to be some slippage. But, I mean, at the same time, Ryder's a tough dude. That guy's a tough guy.
Right.
And he came to fight. They were also like 5,000 feet above sea level. So maybe that played a role too.
Right.
So
just that's not the combinations that I'm used to, not the timing. I mean, he looks good. He didn't look like the Canelo I want to see, because I see that explosive, fast, really good defense. Like, he's not really moving his head or anything right now, just kind of,
I do agree with that the head movement was not there. He was trying to get that. I think he was trying to get that one big shot to take him out. And I guess when you look for the knockout, it's harder to get it than if you just let it come. And I think that's what happened. I think he just tried too hard. I do want to ask you, I know you just said you like Lomachenko in that fight, or you're rooting for him.
Yeah.
Will Tank Davis fight the winner of that fight, in your opinion?
That'd be great. I'd love that. I mean, the thing is, Lomachenko's kind of in the same boat. He waited all the way to the end to come out of the amateurs. I mean, granted, all those fights, 2 gold medals. He's the thing. There's never been a fighter, and may never be a fighter like he is. You know what I'm saying? He's a phenomenon for sure. But when you start to fade, it's either it's a one-off or it's time. You know what I'm saying? To maybe, I don't know. But he had such a short pro career. I just want to see more out of him. I want to see more of him. In other words, I mean, he's done everything there is to do. I just want to see so much more of that amazing Lomachenko. If he was on point, but you're looking at 2 fighters. It's just like with you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. I mean, both of those guys have some. When I'm looking at fighters, I look at their skill and their experience, and also their mentality. And Ryan's had a little bit of trouble with some depression and things like that. Plus he's young and he's a little bit arrogant. I think he needed to learn this lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to learn that. But on the flip side, Tank, he hasn't really had, any problems like that. Maybe some, getting in trouble a little bit. But.
Let me ask you this about, before I let you go, about Canelo, because I know it just hit me again that you have a gym with a lot of Latino fighters. Do the fighters there look up to Canelo? Are they indifferent about him? Are they all
the fighters I have here, most of the ones, they like him. I mean, he's definitely got a heavy set of haters. They're Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? But here, most of the guys love him because we're technicians in this gym. Some gyms are all about the balls. We're more technical, fighters. The people I train anyway. Like I said, we have other trainers in here training their own guys, and I'm not sure what they think because they're not my people. So. But my guys all really respect Canelo and think he's going to do his thing. It's really, he was really, really something for a long time. So hopefully, he's going to, I don't know. I just like to see him go down in weight, but I don't think that's going to happen. But, see what happens. He's definitely not performing like he used to. I'll put it that way, which I hate to see that. But Lomachenko didn't perform like he used to in his last fight either. So. Hopefully, actually the fight with Lopez, actually. So, but, they say he had an injury and all these things. So we'll see. I mean, I hope that badass Lomachenko is back in the ring, on the 20th. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Terri, the boss, Moss, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you back in the future. You have a good one.
It's always my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There you go, guys. The one and the only Terri, the boss, Moss. I'll be joined by Calix in a little bit. 408 will be joining us at the top of the hour. So much to talk about. First of all, thank you to the chat, man. Nando Yama, Chicano Prophet, Eric Gomez, Little Penny, Centron is on here. What am I missing? I know I'm missing a lot of people, but Chauncey Pearls, I know I saw you at some point. The Fight Doctor, Little Penny, Afro-Rican G, how you doing, man? He says it could have been an off night. Maybe. I saw Karma Serene earlier. I saw Lisa Bales. There she is. Shout out to you. Thank you for sharing the show. Thank you for sharing this on all your social media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, so much to talk about and so little time in this world. You know what I mean? Chauncey Pearls, I appreciate the support. with that 100 and with that boxing love. You know what I mean? And of course, Calix is going to go ahead and join us here. Calix, I'm going to let you start off with cooking on your thoughts. Like just this is the question, and you could cook. What are your thoughts on Jermell Charlo calling out Canelo for undisputed versus undisputed? Let's do it. Come on. Let's do it, Canelo. Let's go. Now, granted, he sounded drunk, but what are your thoughts?
Mel's my guy. I like Mel. So respectfully, no. Respectfully, no. But this is the thing, right? Like everybody, it doesn't even have to be a weight class south, a weight class north. It could be 2 weight classes south. Not the shot. They all want the shot. So it is what it is with that. But what my concern is with Mel is what I talk about with a lot of fighters, D-style, is they get a fan base by behaving a certain way, and then they go away from it. For whatever reason, they go away from it late. Jose Ramirez is currently doing it, and I'm seeing red flags of Mel possibly doing it here, and Mel possibly becoming Maul. Is injury. He's saying the injury has to do with activity, and the Tim Tszyu fight is there. The Tim Tszyu bag is right there. I'm seeing red flags of a guy who's going to drop the Tim Tszyu bag. And that's a bag. And it's a realistic bag. And it's the fight in and around his weight class. What's he got at middleweight? What's he got coming up in welterweight, realistically? That's the bag. And I see red flags out there, some warning signs that he may end up dropping that bag. Because Mel versus Tim Tszyu is the fight to make, and that's the only fight to make.
Look, I think, first of all, I want to make sure everybody understands, okay? I know Jermell had an injury, and I believe him that it was a legitimate injury, right? But everyone needs to understand this from the Tim Tszyu perspective, okay? You were the Minotaur. You negotiate a fight. You make the fight happen, right? You agree to all the terms. They didn't even have to go to purse bids. Cool, let's go, let's fight. Oh, can we wait 6 months? Because we need to do it in January, right? Late January. So, and then you agree to wait 6 months for the fight. 6 months. And then, like 2-3 weeks before the fight, Jermell gets injured. So they cancel the event. So then you postpone it, and you go ahead and you say, you know what? No problem, Jermell. While you get better, I'm gonna go ahead. In March, mid-March, I'm gonna go ahead and fight who many say is the second best, right? 154-pounder on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna fight Harrison. Many people were calling it dumb. Harrison was calling it dumb. Why would you risk it? And he goes ahead and he does that. And he dominates and beats Harrison. And then they're like, so what's the status? They're not getting the status. They're not getting any word. They don't know what the hell's going on, right? They're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. Are you ready to fight by June? No, we're not ready by June. I'm still injured, right? Tim's not advocating for him to be stripped, guys. He's not saying, oh, strip this guy. Let me fight. He says, okay, you know what? Get better, champ. In the meantime, I'll fight Ocampo. And by the way, people were criticizing. I saw some people like he's going to fight Ocampo. This is the dude. He's staying active. That's all it is. It's a stay busy fight. You know what I mean? He's going to fight Ocampo, a guy that took a Tower Inferno the distance, gave him a great fight. It's going to be a tune-up pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once that fight's official, Jermell gets drunk, right? And he goes on, I believe it was Instagram or some social media platform, slurring his words. Why do we do undisputed versus undisputed, motherfucker? That bitch can't beat me. I'll fight Canelo. Let's do the fight at 160. I gained some weight. Like, because he got drunk. It is what it is. Yeah? No crime in that, but He got drunk. He's calling out Canelo. We all know Canelo's going to fight in September. Now, Calix, a multitude of things happen, by the way. And I'll let you cook on that, but when he does that, right? All these dudes, they leave David Benavidez at the altar, right? They abandon him and leave him at the altar, bro. And they're like, oh, shiny object this way. Jermell! Fight Jermell, Canelo, Stone Duck. Undisputed versus undisputed, Canelo. Are you going to duck? Don't duck now. This content creator saying things like, oh, come on, we know Canelo won't take that fight. We know what time it is, guys. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, that's me and Callis try to tell a lot of you real Benavidez fans, okay? A lot of the support your dude is getting is fake support, right? They left him at the altar, and then now, okay, they're over here talking about Jermell, bro. They're all over Jermell right now. Okay, that one dude on Twitter, I forget his name, but he's like, oh, Canelo, the way he looked against Ryder, oh, I think Jermell knocks him out. He better go get that easy work with Benavidez. If all of a sudden, they don't give it, they left him at the altar, Calix. Mm-hmm. They don't give a shit about Benavidez all of a sudden. Not everybody. There's some real Benavidez fans out there that want the smoke, but I'm talking about, you know.
The frustrating part for me is, and this is what we go back to as it's tough staying consistent, right? We saw, what did we see this week? And I'm not going to make this, it's just an example. It's Monday morning, Canelo's right back in the gym after making $50 million. Is once these fighters get to a certain point.
Well, actually, whatever you said, like, I don't want to make, no, make it that. Go ahead.
No, but I'm saying, like,
this is HCP. Let's go.
There's a reason that these fighters can't get to the plateau. It's they get happy with a certain amount, and then they get lackadaisical. Billy Joe Saunders gets his bag, and then the Plant gets his bag, and then he disappears for a little while. But these guys get their bag, and they start behaving a certain way. I'm a Mel fan. I am, man. I'm a Mel fan, but it pains me to see this because I see it going somewhere. I can see it from a mile away. Is he's going to try to drop this Tim Tszyu bag, and it's right there for him. But speaking of Tim Tszyu is absolutely doing the correct thing. Do not wait. And it's what Yordenis Ugas is telling these fighters right now. Twitter. He can't say too much because these guys have agreements to where they can't go out there, particularly the PBC fighters, and say what they want to say. But he's trying to tell these young fighters, fight. You have to go get your fights. And it's because he sees, they're saying, dude, I've been on the shelf 13 months. When am I going to fight? When am I going to fight? And a growing number of fighters are complaining about this, what we've been saying for years. If you look at the quarterly earnings, and this is right up your alley because you were in this business years ago, and you understand this, is when you see the quarterly earnings for these companies, Paramount, Disney, and you see where this is going, the number of streamers is starting to plateau because everybody that was coming over from cable to streaming, they've got those people already. It's starting to plateau. So what happens now? What happens? You start to get a worse product and the price of the brick goes up on top of that. So boxing fans don't realize what we've been trying to hit them over the head with for the past couple of years is you think we're just out here complaining. We're not out here. We're telling you what's coming is you're going to start to get a barrage, a growing number of three things. One, inactivity. You're going to get a ton more of that. Pay-per-views. No, you're going to get a ton more pay-per-views because like I said, like Marlo on the Wire, the price of the brick just went up. And number three, you're going to get some very bad content. You're going to get some terrible fights like you're getting this weekend. Raleigh Romero against. I can't even say it out loud what that is. And then
we'll get to that. We'll cook on that in a little bit. But
what I'm trying to warn people is Tim Tszyu is doing the right thing here. You can argue about Ocampo. He's staying busy. He's not going to make the same mistake he made 2022 waiting around for these fights. He's saying, I'm going to get Harrison. I'm going to get Ocampo. And if this guy does or doesn't come to the table, whether we fight him or whether we fight the vacant, we're gonna get our fights in.
For sure, for sure. Look, Jermell. Some people are saying that we can't knock it. He's going for legacy, undisputed versus undisputed. That this is what it's all about, quote unquote, right? That undisputed takes like a mega fight, like Jermell versus Canelo, right? Undisputed versus undisputed takes precedent over everything. It doesn't matter if Tim Tszyu has earned a shot, and Tim Tszyu could wait, right? Pretty much, right? Tim Tszyu could, whatever. Go fight somebody else, Tim Tszyu. You know what I mean? Like, Jermell has something to take care of. And what I'll say is this, man. All you dudes, all you guys out there, right, that are talking about how Canelo doesn't want that smoke, and Canelo is doing everything he can. Like, he's not going to fight Jermell, and you know what will happen. You know what time it is, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe you. I think if Canelo tomorrow announced, okay, let's go to do this fight, okay, you guys will do an immediate pivot, and then your tone would change immediately, right? And all of a sudden, you will return to the Benavidez altar, because you always go to the altar of the guy that it appears Canelo's not going to fight. When it appears Canelo's not going to fight somebody, they go to that altar. When it appears that Canelo's not going to fight Bivol, all of a sudden, the language changes. Oh, he's ducking Bivol. He doesn't want that smoke again. He doesn't want to take that beating again. But when he wanted the Bivol fight, oh, nobody wants to see that. Why are you doing that, Canelo? No, please don't fight him. Fight Benavidez. It's a better fight, Canelo, please. And then when it looks like he might fight Benavidez, oh, wow. You see, I knew he was going to fight Bivol. I knew he was doing he ain't going to fight no Jermell. Jermell's where it's at. Jermell will knock him out. Jermell would school Canelo. He's too explosive for Canelo. Blah, 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 blah. By the way, shout out to Nando Llamas. I forgot to shout him out. Salute Calix. Always keeps it $100 for that super chat. I appreciate that, brother. I don't believe him, Calix. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. If they make that fight happen, don't get mad at me for the sacrificial lamb. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear the crying. I don't want the tears. Because for how long, like the U2 song, how long must we sing this song? How long?
And I'm going to give Mel the benefit of the doubt, though, because, it has been 12 months, all that, but he has been behaving like a real one. That's the reason I'm a fan. But, that only goes so far. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not too keen on this this idea. Like, people want to see it, but you know what? If it happens, I'm not going to be mad at it, Calix.
Whatever.
Like maybe people just need to learn the lesson. Like maybe these fans that are acting like Canelo wants no smoke with Jermell, and maybe Canelo just needs to beat his ass so they could just shut the fuck up already.
No, what's going to happen is if he does point to Jermell, then the goalpost will move. You already know that works. When he was at 160, it was pointers were all wrong for him. When he was at interim middleweight, it was Golovkin's all wrong for him. 154, Trout, Lara were all wrong for him. It's the same. It's the same story over and over. What's the definition?
Because what's happening?
The definition of insanity is you keep doing the same thing. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, look, you know what they do? Shout out to Tony Boswell. By the way, shout out, brother. He said, much for HCP and stop chat to show support. Hit the like button. Absolutely, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. Look at that. Watching from work, Tony. Because you know why he's watching from work, Alex? You know why?
What's that?
I'm just telling you. You know what I mean? Because
I'm a hard-working man.
Yeah, man, that's Tony Boswell. He's a hard-working man. You know what I mean?
I missed that song right there. I missed that one.
The hard-working man. Tuning in, man. Look. Like, would you be mad at the fight? Like, if you fought Jermell?
Yeah, I would. Personally, I would.
I
wouldn't be mad at them, but they're.
We got dudes taking it on, Calix. Like, they're campaigning for it right now. They're doing videos, like they're on the videos. Okay, they're all on the StreamYard. They're all all over the place. demanding that he fights Jermell, and I'm like, be careful what you wish for. Like Canelo might just see some easy pickings and say, you know what, maybe you guys are right. Maybe I'm in a downslide. Maybe I should just fight a dude like this. You know
I
what I
want
mean?
to see Mel fight Tszyu. That's what I want to see. I want to see
Me
the
too.
fights
Me
that
too.
need to happen within, because I'm tired of the division. If Spence and Crawford aren't going to fight, strip them. If Mel's not going to fight, that 154 meaningful fight, strip them.
I guess I just want to give the same message that we give Benavidez fans. Nobody's fearing Jermell on the Canelo side. Okay?
Yeah.
We're not worried about Jermell. Like you guys are capping hard, bro. Like you're shooting blanks. You know what I mean? But if you want to campaign for it, campaign for it. But if Canelo turns around and makes that fight, for those campaigning for it, like don't start crying when it actually happens. You know what I mean? What they're gonna do? Like, oh, look at he had to fight a small guy. Why? Why? Like when Canelo moves up to weight classes, oh, why has he got to fight the third best fighter in the division? Why? Why? But I mean, he's the only dude that, like, I'm just saying, this shit's stupid, bro. But anyway, whatever. Tim Tszyu, you like the Ocampo fight? You kind of just accept it for what it is. Like, what's your opinion on the fight?
Accept it for what it is. It's a stay busy fight. And good for him, man. Stay busy. Stay busy. Take the advice of these older, more vet fighters who are being shelved right now. Get your fights. Ugas is out there telling them. Other fighters have been out there telling them. They're talking behind the scenes. I hear they're talking behind the scenes. Get your fights. Get your fight dates. The well is drying up. These earnings reports, I'm telling you, they are ugly. They're ugly. When they're slashing dividend revenue by 80% over at Paramount, you know, when Disney is talking about mass layoffs as well, these dates, these budgets are going to start drying up. You're going to see a lot of inactivity. So if somebody gives you a date, hop on it. Hop on it. And that's what Tim Tszyu is doing right here.
Well, in Tim's case, though,
Ocampo's a measuring stick fight, right? Much like Harrison. It's a measuring stick. You have other top fighters in the division that have either lost or won those fights. It's a measuring stick to see where he's at in his career. But ultimately, he's staying busy and waiting for Mel to finally come to the table. That's what's happening.
Look, I think it's a good fight, actually. I don't think Ocampo gets judged a little too much by his Spence performance. I don't think it was his best performance, and Spence is a really good fighter on top of that, right? So, I mean, look at his fight with the Towering Inferno. I think he put up a really good fight. So, and that kind of brought him down a peg, right? So we'll see. Like, could Tim Tszyu be brought down a peg if he looks a little human in this fight? Not like he gets the victory, but he loses 4 rounds or something, and all of a sudden Jermell's hand feels great. You know, I don't know, right? So
what I see here is 119, 109 type performance, maybe even a stoppage.
Well, I do too. I think he'll stop him. I think he stops him for sure. But
gonna go to work.
We'll see. Chauncey Pearls to play devil's advocate. We always say let these guys try to achieve greatness. Mel's resume gives him some clout to want those big fights. Just saying, in my opinion. I'm not saying otherwise, but he's made Tim Tszyu way too long. That's what I'm saying.
It only goes so far, right? I mean, what's it get you? What's Undisputed get you? We're keeping your belts. What do we say? 18 months, something like that.
You don't get like a lifetime pass, so you don't get like
right.
Just saying. I mean,
yeah, I agree. And the fights have to be realistic. Why are we doing these fights where guys are 2 weight classes apart and they're going to meet in the middle, split the difference? I don't know. Fight guys 100%. In your weight class, or move up a weight and fight guys there. But 2 weights, there's a handful of fighters I'd rather see Canelo fight than Mel.
Yeah, but for Tim Tszyu though, like, he's kind of an exception because he's not really part of that PBC. He's with No Limit over there in Australia, and this fight's on pay-per-view for them. Like, you know what I mean? So they're gonna have to fork out some money to watch him fight, and they probably will, right? This is a fight. This is a fighter who is a big name in his country, has a support of his people, and he's not thirsty for a payday from a Jermell or a PBC fighter. Like, he could make money on his own, and I think he's shown that, right? The only reason that fight with Jermell, we're not going to have an issue with getting it in the United States, because Tim Tszyu wants to fight in the United States, right? Like, he wants to do that to kind of expand his name, and his dad fought in the U.S. and in Vegas, so that's what he wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't see them having issues with that. But right now, I mean, you made the guy wait 6 months. You got injured last minute. He waited for you, and he's waiting for you again. You can't like bail on him and just vacate the belts and leave the division. I mean, you kind of got to fight the guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a bad look if you don't fight him.
That's a huge fight in Australia. Huge fight in Australia.
Yeah, but the Australians are gonna watch anyway, whether it's in Australia or here.
I know. I'm just telling you. If you go where the money is, I'm telling you. Because the Undisputed fight, I mean, what people don't realize is Castano for Undisputed, that rematch, was at the in Carson, California, and they were comping the hell out of that fight. So whether we like it or not, Mel's not much of a draw outside of Houston. He's just not. No,
yeah, I think we're not gonna have a problem making what made the fight easier to make is that Tim's not like saying, "Oh, it has to be in Australia," or you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. I don't want to really. I don't want to press too much on that because they're not making an issue about it, and that's what makes the fight easy to happen. Even though it hasn't happened yet, but I do think Jermell was just. Look, guys, I think the guy was drunk and just kind of spoke out of impulse, but he's got to get better. And you know what, Calix, he's going to be fighting a guy who's been active, a guy who's going to be sharp.
Ocampo's he's hella active.
Well, I'm talking about Tim. Tim's likely going to beat Ocampo. Tim's going to be sharp. He's active. He's young.
They're both active, yeah.
No. But I'm talking about the Jermell fight, like when it happens later in the fall.
No,
Jermell has not been active.
You're right.
Jermell hasn't been fighting, and there's no rematch clause.
And Jermell has been the type of dude who will lose that first fight. We've seen that as well. So, you know, a lot of people felt Castano won that first fight too.
And the thing about Tim, he's not going to be the guy out boxing Jermell, and Jermell could wait to land that big shot. Tim could punch too. Like, he's going to be hurting Jermell, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I want to see this fight. I think it's a really good, intriguing fight. It's a pick'em fight, in my opinion, and it's a big fight for 154, and I want to see it, right? I think that's a fight to make, and I'm not going to be one of those people really advocating for a Jermell Canelo fight. But if it happens, I ain't going to complain about it. If Canelo beats him up, hey, you guys asked for it. You know what I mean?
It's not going to happen.
Like, I'm just saying, like, you pick a fight, you put it with matches, you get burned.
It ain't gonna happen.
You know what I mean? You don't see that fight happening?
No, not happening.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I don't think that fight's gonna happen either. Let's bring on Dave 408 from the Shoe Shine. How's it going, brother?
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me.
What's happening? Man, I'm just we're just chilling here, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and talk about talk to us. What do you make of Jermell? Are you excited for that fight if it happens? Him and Canelo, Undisputed versus Undisputed. Does it take precedence over everything? Like the hell with Benavidez, Bivol, all that? Just fight him?
The purists won't, but you know, it's a very interesting fight to have two guys that are undisputed. I mean, it could be successful. At this point in the career of Canelo Alvarez, I think he's deserved it. You know, when I think about Floyd Mayweather's twilight of his career, when he started fighting guys like Andre Berto, you know, and selling that to us as like a pay-per-view type fight, you know, I think it's really obvious at this point, most of us agree that we saw some slippage in Canelo this past Saturday. And now going back more than 2 or 3 fights, we see the decline of maybe his athletic prime. So I wouldn't hate on a fight like that. It's very interesting. At this point in Canelo's career, I think he can dictate who he wants to fight and that he doesn't necessarily have to succumb to the pressure of fight fans. Of course, us being purists and loving the sport the way we do, we want to see him fight the very best and defend against the very best in his division. And that would include David Benavidez, first and foremost, potentially David Morrell, who is a WBA, has a minor title with the WBA. I would love and favor to see those fights. Or, Bivol coming down to 168 is even more intriguing than all of those. fights to me.
That's the most intriguing one of them all, right? Okay.
To me, the most dangerous. I mean, I know Joel Diaz was on YouTube saying that he feels very comfortable. That he who has more experience than him with Bivol, that he thinks very confidently that Bivol at 168 will be equally as fast, strong, and athletic.
That's actually a really good point. Really quick, Remy, I'm a Jermell fan, but dude is tripping, and all his opponents except Castano have been previously knocked out and arguably lost to Castano or a draw. A shout out to you, brother. I appreciate the support. Hey, 408, what do you think of the Ocampo fight for Tim Tszyu as a stay busy fight?
Oh God. Yeah, I just saw that in Australia. And you know what? He needs to stay busy because Tim, the more I see Tim, I keep seeing improvement. 3 or 4 fights ago, I think that some people had doubt that he was very rudimentary, basic, and his skill set. And, with demolishing a former world champion like Tim Harrison, I think that's all BS, man. I think his skill set is going to get him very far and potentially could get him if it wasn't Jermell holding all the belts, I think that he could easily be a world champion at 154.
All right, guys, I want to ask you too. There's a big blockbuster fight, right? I just got my check from Leonard Allerby, so I got to say what I got to say, okay? We have a big blockbuster fight. Rolly Romero will be challenging for a world championship, right? And I want to thank Steven Espinosa. I want to thank Showtime. I want to thank Al Heyman for this. Calix, I need to thank him for this fight. I need to fall in line. I need to accept it. I need to take it. As a consumer, I need to shut the fuck up and just take whatever the fuck they give me. Or Leonard Allerby is going to smell my tweet and scold me. What do you say, Calix?
Horrible fight. And I was trying to earlier go back and figure out if this is the worst Showtime championship main event in history. I mean, is it? Can y'all think of a worse Showtime championship boxing main event?
Ismael Barroso, Rolly Romero.
And the thing people tell me is, oh, well, it was supposed to be Puello. Puello versus Rolly is still a terrible fight. Rolly does not even belong in the same vicinity, same zip code as a belt. He just doesn't. You can't be. He shouldn't have got the Tank fight from the beginning. They hyped that one up. He lost to Marinez 2 fights before. He looked like he was Bambi on ice against Yigit. And somehow they built that up into a thing. And I'll never forgive them for introducing Rolly to the market or introducing the market to Rolly and making him a thing. But he loses the fight at lightweight 12 months since he last fought. And he somehow jumps up a weight class. And he's not even top 30 at lightweight. And he jumps up to the beautiful gauntlet division of 140. That is a beautiful division full of killers who fight each other. And he brings that lightweight energy up to the diva energy up to this gauntlet division. And now he's going to fight Ismael Barroso for the belt. And it was supposed to be the interim belt, but now it's the recess. It's the vacant belt, and the vacant turn into the real thing. That's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, like, who knows how that happened? I don't even know how he was ranked to be in position to fight for the belt to begin with. He was coming off a loss at 135. But what you don't understand, Calix, is that Tank is so good. Like, Tank is one of the greatest to ever live. So if you win like a round against Tank, that's like new level stuff. Like, you should be ranked in 2 weight classes above. You know what I mean? I mean, look, Mario Barrios won a couple rounds against the guy. They got stopped, and they put him on a pay-per-view main event with Keith Thurman. What do you say to that, Shushan?
First of all, what the Cosmopolitan, where this fight is going to happen on Saturday, is a fantastic venue for small fights. And I had originally intended to be there because the price tag, you know what? The price tag for fights in Vegas can be astronomical. And when you can get in and see a fight that intimately, and I had intended to see, Rolly Romero against Alberto Puello, the Dominican who just won that title. I thought that's the fight I was going to see for, $100 for 2 people and be ringside just about. This fight stinks, man. The fight, you guys are nailed it, man. He did not merit to be ranked by the WBA at 140 pounds under any conditions. I mean, Calix says he wasn't even ranked top 30, but yeah, he got that opportunity to fight Tank. And I really think that with a lot of foresight, the WBA had intended for Raleigh to beat Puello, who obviously is the weakest champion, and set up a potential rematch with Tank Davis for a legitimate title at 140 pounds, because Tank Davis is yet to actually have a real legitimate title. They're all been minor belts. And it looks like now, I mean, they just made the announcement today in recess, and he's still pending his investigation for enclomiphene clomid, which is a banned substance that increases your testosterone by up to two times, two folds. He should not be, but it looks like by all accounts, he's going to beat a 40-year-old Venezolano this Saturday, and Raleigh Romero will be a world champion. And he's already come out and he's got strong words for people hating on him.
Well, look, I mean, I'm not really mad at him. Like, he's just the dude that got the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. He's doing his job,
right? So I'm not mad at him like that. Like, it's not at Raleigh. I don't want to be that harsh. Like Calix hates him for just existing. You know what I mean? But not me.
I don't mind him.
Calix, was that Leonard Allerby? Was he kicking you out of the stream or whatever?
Maybe so. Leonard has been after me for a couple of years now.
Does he still follow you, by the way?
He follows me on and off as intimidation tactics. For whatever reason, I don't understand that.
Why is he following you then unfollowing you? That's just
I don't understand why dudes who don't like me obsessively
He's following you.
Obsessively talk about me in the chat or obsessively on Twitter. I don't get it, but that's on them. But what it is it's a bad fight, and he knows it's a bad fight, and he's lashing out. That's what it is, because he should just leave it alone. Just put on your fight. I don't blame him. He's leveraged his guy into this fight. Good for him. Like he's done that. My beef is with the sanctioning body who made this for a title fight, and also for the network execs for signing off on this fight. And it goes back to what I was saying is, man, they don't realize, a lot of boxing fans don't realize the ugly times we're about to go into, because the quality of content is going to go down and the price of the brick is going up. And you're getting that this weekend.
Man. I mean, that's this is a sign of things to come. We're going to get a Raleigh Romero level. I'm not excited about that, Calix. So something just rubs me the wrong way about all that.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing personal. Like, none of this is anything personal. It's, as a boxing fan, you want quality content, and you want the sanctioning bodies to work for the boxing fan and put on good title fights. And I don't have a problem with the 4 sanctioning bodies, as long as they lead to a blueprint to making unification fights, get us to Undisputed, rank the guys correctly, and they don't do any of that. There's a lot of money being passed under the table, and that's how we get to what we're getting Saturday. Because there's no way in a real world where a Raleigh Romero gets anywhere close to a top 10 ranking at 140 in any section.
Because, like, what you don't understand, Calix, on 408 is that if you win a round against Tank, like, you've proven yourself. You know what I mean? If you win 4 rounds against Tank, hey, I mean, I'm just saying. Now, I think you know the answer to this, Calix, but I want to know 408's opinion. 408 are they gonna set up Tank to get a belt at 140 right here?
I think that's the most likely scenario. Absolutely. But Ryan Garcia has a rich history in the gym with the Raleigh Romero. So if that fight didn't come into fruition, of course, that's a pick'ems fight. Raleigh braggadocio. I mean, that video is out there for everybody to see how much he roughed up Ryan Garcia. I mean, and Ryan Garcia coming up to 140, we saw how they worked together recently to create a big super fight. That's a potential super fight too, that could potentially give Ryan Garcia the belt, and maybe another opportunity for Tank Davis to fight for the belt against somebody he already annihilated. Either way, it's a win-win for Tank Davis.
This is great, Calix. I know you see it coming, but I mean, is this the chess move? Is this the sacrifice pawn, and they're gonna put?
It could be one of those two. It could be Tank, or, which I hope not. I don't put anything past him, or it could be a Ryan Garcia fight at 140. It's one of those two.
Yeah, if the pay-per-view numbers are accurate that they say 1.2 million, there's going to be a lot of people saying Ryan Garcia brings a lot to the table, potential super fight. Raleigh was already in a pay-per-view. It carried himself well throughout the entire media events. So it could be a good fight, at least for the casuals. Yeah.
I would hope the boxing gods are merciful and Ismael Barroso pulls off this upset. That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, it is possible because Raleigh's not that good.
But Marinez didn't get the nod. Marinez didn't get that nod.
Marinez beat that ass. Like, and
he clearly beat. He clearly.
I mean, I never. That's actually one of the worst robberies I've ever seen, like ever. And then what happened a couple fights later? They were trying to set him up for a fight with Tank. Like, you know what I mean? Like we saw it.
Those wheels were in motion way back then to line him up with Tank.
Yeah, so now we're seeing these wheels in motion. Calix, why do you think Leonard Allerby is being so aggressive at you? Why is he attacking you, Calix? He's going at you, bro. He's coming at you.
It's been a couple of years now, but I'm not worried about Leonard. Like I said, it's nothing personal with me because Leonard seems like the type of dude like you can hang out with, right? Like he seems cool and he's doing a good job of managing.
I don't really want to hang around with Leonard, I'll be honest.
No, but he is doing a good job of managing Raleigh into fights, right? He got him the Tank fight. He sold that to some casuals, and now he's leveraging that into whatever this is to get him a real belt at 140. So I can't hate on that. My beef is with the sanctioning body and the network execs. But whenever I go, for whatever reason, man, whenever I go at Steven and then he sends his people at me, Steven Espinoza will send his people at me. And then Leonard takes that very personal for whatever reason. Because I don't even say anything about Leonard, but he takes that very personal. And it is what it is.
He signs his checks, bro. What do you mean?
I don't take any of that. It's fine. But my beef is with, I just want to see a good fight on Saturday night. That's all I want to see. I want to see something other than this on Saturday night. And they're destroying the consumer now. This is the point where we've been telling them it was coming. This is where it's at. There's a point when they offload their mistakes onto the consumer, and that's what they're doing now. You're seeing the bloody earnings reports, and now it's coming. They're about to offload it on the consumer, and you're gonna pay more.
I'll say this though. I will say this. I mean, I hear you. All that's facts, but this specific fight,
it's terrible.
I just think it just kind of like happened, like dude popped dirty. They put him as a champion in recess. Mm-hmm. Why do the test if he's going to be put in recess?
But what I'm saying is Polo versus Romero shouldn't have been a thing either.
No. Well, I mean, it's a thing.
He didn't deserve that ranking. That's absolutely right. He didn't deserve that ranking. And I want to point to everybody that's listening. If you guys want to do some further research on this, in 2022, there's a guy by the name of Greg Cohen. I've been saving this article for such a long time, guys. Greg Cohen, this guy's being sued, and in a deposition, he reveals that he's a small-time boxing promoter, that there is a side business for the WBA where you can pay to have your guy get ranked, right? But it's on the side.
Is that real?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Go research this. Insider.com has it. It was a deposition where he basically revealed.
Year, right?
It was from 2022 where he revealed.
Is it kind of like dark money that gets funneled? Or is it just direct?
Exactly.
Okay,
it's a side subsidiary where you basically pay to have your guy ranked and basically, move him up the rankings. And why would anything change? It's not like this thing.
How much do they charge? I have some friends.
Who knows, huh? Actually, in the story, they do say something. It was a 242 page. Here it is. He claimed he paid $250,000.
Well, I'm out of it.
Yeah. To get your guy. No. He paid $17,250 to a Florida-based business that it has.
To my friend, I can't get you ranked. I'm sorry. It's too much money. But
17K, yeah. Well, I'm sure they got it for. They got that all day for Raleigh.
Yeah, like this whole thing. Look, whether it was good times, bad times, amazing, this is a trash fight, and it shouldn't be for a world title. And the WBA should not be sanctioning it. And you know what the problem is? There's a bigger problem. The bigger problem is who looks after, who regulates the sanctioning bodies. They regulate themselves. They investigate themselves. They vote amongst themselves. There's supposedly a like for whatever reason, like have you noticed like with the Suleimans?
Yeah.
The body never votes against them ever. There's never been a case where I thought this, but the board overruled me when we voted. Have you noticed that never happens? That's never happened in the history of the WBC, right? These presidents never get outvoted. For some reason, the board always agrees with them, right? Why? Because there's that. First of all, I'll be surprised if there even is a vote. But those votes are as legitimate as the votes for Kim Jong-un, okay, in North Korea, all right? That we're supposed to believe that Kim Jong-un has democratic elections. You know what I mean? And but if you don't vote for him, you get killed. You know what I mean? Like but that's how legitimate those votes are, right? But they make it sound believable when they say, what I like about the WBC though, when they did the franchise thing, they were like, well, we all went to Hawaii. We all got together in Hawaii and had this vote, right? And we voted for the franchise belt. So you guys, this non-profit organization, they all got together and had a vacation in Hawaii to make up a shit belt, right? That is the sport we're in, right? That's the sport of boxing. That's the sport. And I'm not going to say for better, for worse. For worse. There's no better. For worse.
The WBC, I mean, with that Oscar Valdez thing, I wasn't pleased with what they did with that either. This is, they knowingly allowed a banned substance by VADA, and then they word played and they let Oscar Valdez keep his title so long as he was for a year not a suspension, nothing, right? He just had to become an advocate against doping, right? And basically do some speeches.
Yeah.
But that WBA thing, the irony behind the WBA decision, waiting for they're going to wait for a B sample and then have a hearing, like I guess a week from today. But Alberto Puello he's already admitted and provided documentation that I had a prescription to be on this fertility drug. So he's already admitted. So what are we going to find in the B sample when he's telling you, here's my doctor's note that should excuse me?
This whole thing is a joke, bro. Like, look, this sport, there's so much wrong with it. I mean, and I don't like speaking negative because there's a lot of positive things too. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, this is like a stain in the sport. Like when you really look at it, the whole point of the sanctioning bodies, the only reason they exist, right, is to provide a checks and balance from the promoters, the managers, the fighters, the fans. The whole point of a sanctioning body is for the little guy to work his way up the rankings, and then they tell the big name or the champion, hey, you got to fight this guy because he earned a shot. He's your mandatory now. We don't care. The fans don't know who he is. That's why when fans say stupid things like, you need to fight the big names, not your mandatories. Well, those mandatories earned their shot, right? But the problem is people don't have faith in who the mandatories are because look how corrupt they are. Right? They're colluding with promoters. They're colluding with managers. So when there is a mandatory, like the Yildirim, if we're honest, was a shit mandatory. Like Mauricio said, he put up a good fight against Durrell, so he left him as a mandatory for 2 years. He was supposed to fight Benavidez. Benavidez got stripped because he didn't make weight, right? And then they left him right there. Like whoever fights for the vacant belt is going to fight Yildirim. And of course, you know what I mean? Now, because Canelo has some pull, he actually got to fight Smith for it, the vacant belt. But guess what Canelo had to do 2 months later? He had to fight a dude that, in all honesty, should not have been a fucking, like, he shouldn't have been, right? We keep it real around here. We tell the truth around here. You know what I mean? So no one, like, there's no trust from the fans. You know what I mean? And I don't blame the fans. You have to be a nerd and follow the sport to know that Ryder actually deserved a shot given who he fought. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that work, though. They did, whatever. Mandatory, schmandatory. They're all frauds or whatever, right? European, we don't like them. Europa.
It's not going to be cleaned up realistically, and that's fine. We've identified who the power brokers are and what they do. The issue now is the Stockholm Syndrome crew that will side with the sanctioning bodies and the fighters that are inactive and the promoters and the managers. You know who they are. And when I hear guys say, yeah, 690 days is a long time, but, WBC shouldn't strip them because, mental health or whatever. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see content creators. We have a big problem with American content creators in particular because the UK content creators do not do this. I don't see this from them. Those dudes over there are on point. And they're on point. And they hold people's feet to the fire and they behave like boxing fans. These dudes over here, a lot of them that are saying these things, particularly when it comes to Jermell Charlo and 690 days and then having a problem with us pointing that out. And then they'll create this false dichotomy that they'll create this false dichotomy that either you're for Jermell Charlo keeping this belt or you don't care about Jermell Charlo's mental health. You don't care about him. You don't care about his 5 kids that he could have lost. I'm
going to sound like a heartless asshole, and I don't give a fuck. Okay? I got my own problems, brother. I got my own shit. I got shit that I deal with. Dave 408 has his shit. Calix has problems he deals with. Okay? We all got our own shit, and we all have family that are going through shit. We all know somebody, a friend of a friend or a family member, somebody that's trying to be suicidal, mental issues, blah, blah, blah. Okay, spare me if I don't give a flying fuck about a multimillionaire, right, that doesn't want to fight for 700 days, right? You know what? God bless you. Go fix your problems, but give us that belt and so we can keep the sport fucking moving. Okay, because you know what? Adames has problems. I'm sure he has issues. I'm sure there's a slew of fighters that don't have the millions Jermell has, that have not made the money, that have not been afforded the opportunities he has, right? That are waiting for their fucking shot. So spare me the whole, he's got 5 kids. Oh, he's fighting for custody of his kids. Well, that's all he's doing for 24 hours a day, every day for 700 days, fighting for his kids. So it's a never-ending tug of war every day for 24 hours, every day for 700 days. Spare me. And if somebody wants to say you're an asshole, D-Style, for saying that, because I don't care about 1 millionaire, okay, who's inactive, I don't give a shit what you think, because I give a fuck about all the. It goes back to caring about the sport. Because a bunch of dudes in that division aren't eating because of you. How about you let them fight for the belt? You let them. What about the guys that want to fight for their dream? What about Adames? What about him? Okay. He lost his daughter. Caleb Plant lost his daughter. All right. These things happen in life. I'm not here to care about Jermell that way. I'm sorry. It's not my job. Play me the fucking small violin. I don't care. Oh, but D-Style Ramirez is going to get married. D-Style. Oh, well, you don't get to fight for the belt. Yes. Progress should have gotten the shot instead because he wanted to get married. I don't have a problem with him getting married. Okay, I have a problem with the fans saying he's entitled to the title shot right away just because he decided to get married. All right? I'm tired of the dudes playing me that little violin like oh, pobrecito Charlo, he's fighting for custody of his kids and his wife gives him problems and all these fighters have problems. Some of these fighters have a second job. Some of these fighters are broke. They're waiting for their shot and he's holding it up. He's holding up the division. What about their life? What about them? But you want me to feel sorry for Jermell Charlo. The dude's good. He's a multimillionaire. All right? He's good. And if he's going through shit, go deal with your shit, right? When you're ready to go, when you're ready to rock and throw some fisticuffs, then come back and throw some fisticuffs. You can make your millions again. But in the meantime, go over there. In no other sport do they postpone everything because the dude is going through some issues. The NBA season moves on, rugby moves on, tennis moves on. In the UFC, they move on. Everybody moves on. Well, there's nothing wrong with moving on. All right? I'm tired. Like this is the world we live in today. A dude thinks he's a woman. Oh, you have to let him use the woman. You know what I mean? A dude is going through mental illness. You have to hold up a division for 700 days. This is what world are we living in? What the fuck is going on? But I gotta feel sorry for Charlo when he's holding up a whole division. There's dudes waiting for their shit. They're waiting for their shot. You gotta keep the damn shit moving.
Yo, it's so hard to have any sympathy because most guys that wake up every day, men and women that wake up every day to go to work, if you had somebody in management above you and they're like, you know what, I got to leave for mental leave reasons. You get X amount of months, right? Oh, now I got a medical issue. You get X amounts of months. Now I got family leave. You got X months. They would not hold up a management position, somebody that's in control of a lot of people, above a lot of people, for 2 freaking years. There's no way that they would leave that position vacant as soon as they were done with every legal loophole you were trying to exhaust, which was probably less than a year. They'd be like, you're gone, bro. Sorry, you're gone. We got to fill the position, which is in this case, you know, they're like you said, D-Style almost 2 years. That's insane.
But the thing is, and y'all have both nailed it. What I would add to it is you're not going to create this false dichotomy in which either we believe Jermell Charlo deserves the belt or we hate his kids and hate his fans. It's not, we live in a world where we can be empathetic towards him and still think you can't hold up the sport. We need to work within a structure that works for everyone. And that's the main thing here is these dudes are out here saying this stuff and they think they're being pro fighter, but they're being pro Jermell Charlo. And they're being pro entitled fighter. They're not being pro fighter because the pro fighter viewpoint of this is we hold true to the rules and it works for everyone, for every fighter, whether you're at the top, whether you're at the bottom. Like D-Style points out, you got poor fighters out there who are grinding at the gym full time, professional fighters working their asses off to get in the top 10 of rankings, trying to get there. And the divisions are being held up at the top due to inactive fighters. And you got fighters bold enough like Errol Spence telling fans online, strip me then, strip me. They know they're bold because they know they're not going to be stripped, right? So you're not pro fighter. And at the same time, as D-Style points out, all of these fighters up and down the rankings have issues. They all have issues. We talked about Caleb Plant's issues, Carlos Adames' issues. Carlos Adames is paying sanctioning fees for a Reggie belt. These guys are paying sanctioning fees for champion and recess, interim champion, and then paying to become mandatories. And they're underneath here saying, hey, I'm paying his money. When am I going to get my shot at the real thing, right? And also on top of this, what makes this really egregious is there are fighters, every boxing fan knows this, there are fighters who bring value to the belt, and there are fighters who need that belt for value. And Jermell Charlo is a fighter who brings value to the belt, which is why they're allowing him to keep it for a couple of years. And there are fighters who need that belt for value, like an Adames, to bring to the table. Say, I'm a real champion. I can bring this as leverage as a champion, and they can bring value to their career by getting that belt. And oh, by the way, let's not pretend that Jermell Charlo, let's not pretend for 1 second that Jermell Charlo, much like Cordina, who was stripped quickly, can't get right back to the front of the line if he comes back. He'll get a shot right at that belt right when he comes back. So let's stop the cap, as Beeb would say. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. And here's the thing, welterweight, Spence, it's the same shit, bro. Like Spence, he's like, oh, well, strip me then. Like, dude, are you gonna, like, if you're not gonna fight Boots, just say you don't want to fight him and let him fight somebody for the vacant belt. You know, at this point. You know what I mean? Well, why should Boots have to wait for you, bro? Mm-hmm. For what? How long must we sing this song like the U2 song says? Like, how long? How long must we sing this song? How long? How long? We got to strip them tonight. I'm just saying, we got to strip these dudes because, like, oh, but you don't understand. Spence, he's put in the work. Oh, Spence, he's worked so hard. What Boots hasn't worked hard? Boots hasn't sacrificed? Oh, but Jermell, look at everything he's done. Oh, okay, so Tim Tszyu hasn't worked hard. Tim Tszyu hasn't put in the work. Tim Tszyu earned a shot. Waited 6 months. You got injured. He said, "No problem, champ. I'll wait for you. In the meantime, let me take care of this Harrison problem that you've been avoiding. You don't want that trilogy. I'll take care of him for you." Okay, I took care of him. Okay, you ready to go June? All right, no problem, champ. I'll stay busy for now. I'll see you later in the fall. But you want to go fight Canelo all of a sudden. And then people are wondering, like, what the fuck is going on over here? Like, oh, but that's a big fight, these times. Like, you guys don't even want to fight. You're capping. You know you would criticize Canelo if he fought little ass Jermell. You know you would. Let's just stop. I don't believe you. I don't believe in these dudes, bro.
Stop the
Just stop, bro. Like Jesus Christ. But look, this has been a great show. I want to thank everybody. Get us to 50 likes. 3 more likes, we'll get a 50. Terri Moss was on earlier. Check that out. She's someone who started a gym in Atlanta, Georgia, and is thriving. And we need more people like that. That is a heartbeat of boxing. And that goes for gyms everywhere, all across the country, all across the globe. We need more gyms. We need more people investing in gyms. So you know, give it a listen if you can. Go back on the archive. You haven't listened to the show. Shoot Shine, really quick. Any final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, man. I'm excited about this California card. I'd like to see some of these prospects and see what their development is coming along. At least Top Rank has got that, man, that they develop their young fighters well.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you. Anytime.
Calix, any final thoughts, brother, before we roll out of here? Roll out.
No, not looking forward to the fights this weekend, but we'll be back at it next weekend with the Undisputed fight, and that'll be great. Lomachenko, Haney, Lomachenko. Be a great weekend. And it is a good month of boxing. We've talked about the negative stuff, but this is a good month of boxing overall. So let's try to stay as positive as we possibly can.
That's been a really good month of boxing. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the comeback of HCP podcast. Again, good news. I'm gonna have a better schedule moving forward. So we're gonna be able to have like a set schedule now. But we thank everybody for their patience over time. Hope to give you guys an HCP X later in the week. And tomorrow, the roundtable, Joe Habib, ringside reporter. Make sure you tune into that. And more news coming later on in the week. But shout out to everybody. This is D-Style Boxing. And we are out of here, guys. Peace out.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7,